Welcome everybody to yet another edition of #Nofilter. Yes, we are back as the beautiful ladies of #Nofilter, and today we're talking about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Hey, we're talking about sex today, and we want to know, what is the good age to start talking to the kids about sex?
Guys,
when will you start having this conversation? What's a good time to actually have this conversation?
I have a son, and what I actually did with him is we've been talking about sex for a very long time. He's 15 years now, but we started talking about sex from the minute that he could understand. Because we're living in a world where there's so much abuse, sexual abuse, so we had to talk about it. So it was first that, no one should touch.
Okay.
No one should touch. So you find that the sex conversation evolves as the child grows. So you first talk about the things that the child needs to know as they grow. So it starts as in don't touch those parts. So also do not touch a girl there. Do not touch another boy there. And then from there it's like it grows. We are due for another one. We have to talk about like
I tried to introduce the conversation with my son. I was like, so, I know you guys, talk about sex in school, but do you think we should have the conversation? He's like, no, I've had it with my dad. And he was like, keep it moving, mom. Keep it moving.
Oh, wow. We're not going there.
my son is actually very open with me. I think he talks a lot more with me. So so I knew about hair growing in all sorts of places. It was actually uncomfortable for me. I'm the one who's like, okay, look, let's move it along. But now I'm now comfortable talking about it. So I think the conversation starts early and then it gains momentum.
But how do you know when exactly?
Okay, so the touching and the whatever is one thing, right? But, okay, we've now got teenage boys, right? At which point do you tell your son or your daughter, which right, you may know these things, but let's now have this sex.
I think 12, 13. Because you see at 12, 13, a child is going to boarding school, and sometimes it's a mixed school. So you have to give them some kind of information to go there with, or else they're going to be fed information. And also, at that time, they're also going on the internet. At that age, they're going on the internet. So you also want to give them information before they get it from elsewhere.
But I beg to differ. Reason being, let's look at the Zim statistics. Let's not even look at world statistics. Zimbabwe statistics have it that our kids are being sexually active with themselves at the age of 7 and 8. Girls are getting pregnant at the age of 8 and giving birth. So how do you deal with it when already they already know? That's what the forbidden fruit.
I think it's because we don't have that culture.
Playing house scenarios.
No, it's not playing house anymore. I have a boyfriend at the age of 7 or 8. And I'm actually dating someone and I'm getting pregnant at the age of 8.
That's way too early.
We may say it's way too early, but the issue is on the ground, our kids are getting pregnant.
So I think we should know. We should always have a conversation with our children so that we know where their mind is. So that if your child, because when my son was in grade 1, he told me he had a girlfriend called Faye. But then because we talk a lot, I knew it was just Faye from class. Some cute chick was supposed to resemble Dora or something like that. So that was cute, and there was nothing else going on. At least he could spell the name, eh? I love Faye.
Cute, man.
So I think when you have a conversation with your kid, you know where they are. But then that's where we're going wrong as parents. We don't spend enough time with our children.
That's so. Is also. Just observe. Watch what your kids are watching on television and observe their reactions.
And the internet, guys.
And the internet. The internet at times maybe they can hide it from you.
The pop-ups.
But
with parents.
You know what it is. We want to blame TV and we want to blame the internet. Some of these things we are exposing our children to. Single parents, we're exposing our children because, you're in this lovey-dovey mode. You're doing all these things. You're not sure where the kids are. And kids are watching these things. Kids are waking up and watching their kids doing it. Their parents doing it. Or dad and girlfriend doing it. Mom and boyfriend doing it. There was a video that was on Twitter last week where this woman was getting a BJ. Was giving a BJ. And there was a toddler in the car.
Oh, Lord.
Who was watching. And there was another infant outside the car was actually banging the door. So the person recording this was the guy. So I think these kids belong to the woman. So the guy was the one who was recording, like, the kid is in there, like, yo, what's up? The other one's watching from. So we are sometimes exposing our kids to these things. Are we locking our doors? Are we, just letting anybody walk into the house and?
No, but some things are situational, guys. I mean, look at people who got a one room, and the whole family's in there. What are you gonna do?
No, but go do it somewhere else.
Like what age, Tate?
No, because I was thinking now it's not even about an age thing, I guess. Because now if they're starting to have sex at the age of 8, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is an 8-year-old there? Being out there and doing whatever crazy shit that kids do, right? But then now, here you are, you're 8 and you have a boyfriend, you're sexually active.
So how about African tradition? We grew up hearing about kids being taken into initiation schools. You heard of Chinamwari, or what's the other word for the local one?
Chinamwara.
There we go, that one. We have those kind of cultures that from an early age they teach you how to kurunga and and mona the waist. How do we feel about that? In terms of, is it something that we should be encouraging? Is it being done in the right, spaces for our kids? How do we feel about that?
I think, as a Malawian, was a weekend Zimbabwean. I feel like these traditions done the way that our elders used to do it, our ancestors used to do it. It was done in the right way because it's done well. But I think people are then adopting certain things and adapting certain things and changing them up to 2019, which kind of messes up everything. So it's more than Chinemari is more than just kurunga and stuff like that. It's a lot more that goes on in there. And
So should we? Okay, so are those things the things that my 5-year-old should be learning? My 5-year-old daughter, because a lot of it had to do with how to please a man, right?
Yeah.
Even back in the day.
About how to please a man, how to handle a household, because that's another issue as well. Because you find when I look at some of the traditional stuff that we were exposed to, and you're sent home to your grannies or your aunties, and you're being taught right from an early age. You need to learn how to cook like this, using size 12 board, doing what, right? But at the same time, there's also the ways we dance. Just the simplest things, a dance routine with a guy, with a little boy. You're a little girl with a little boy there, and the way you are dancing. I even look at things like Jerusalem and Bende. For me, I feel it's a bit sexualized, but it's a traditional dance that is, if done properly and correctly under the right context.
But wasn't it? I think that's the thing. I think we're taking these things out of context.
Yeah.
Some of these dances were actually a way of finding a guy. There were ceremonies where whether it's Mira or Chichichi, where those dances were specific. That's where you're going to find your partner.
But look at how young our kids are when they dance.
But then
this
now we're teaching them, and it's. I think we've just taken things and modernized and just like
But those things
is wrong. Should we stop that?
No.
I don't think we should stop. We should actually go back to how it was done before, because those things were done properly. They were not teaching kids to be sexually active, because even after that, when then you get married, you had to be a virgin, because there were also tests that came after that for them to see if you're a virgin. So you had to keep yourself, even with you doing that whole chinamwari, chinamora, what. You had to keep yourself like, a virgin for up until you get married. So I think it's
all
right.
These things were for certain ages as you go.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say about that.
So our traditions are good.
Yes.
We must maintain them.
Yes.
And we must talk to our children.
Yes.
And what else?
Stop modernizing them.
I think what we should
Yeah.
also do throw it out to everybody who's watching right now. Let us know what you think. What do you do in your homes? How did you learn? And let's share. Let's move on to the next segment.
Okay, guys, so welcome back to our game section. Yay! Okay, I love this section because yes. Okay, so you have to respond like how your parents would.
God.
Like I'm gonna ask you questions. Like it's like kids say the Darndest Things.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
How old is this kid? 6.
Okay, let's make them 6.
Okay,
Yes.
6.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, our hypothetical child is 6. And they're asking, what is 6?
Go and grab chocolates from. Go and grab a chocolate from the thing.
If you stop asking me, you get candy.
This is typical my dad. Nah, Sheila, come deal with your child.
Serious.
He would not
Stuff. It's grown up stuff, and we'll talk about it later.
My mom would say, "Go and get chocolate." My dad would just be like,
Wow. Okay. Like, well. Okay. Second question. Why are there so many languages in the world?
Because of the Tower of Babel.
Now you have to explain the Tower of Babel to
So-
a 6-year-old.
God had given us all one voice and one language.
Yeah.
And then some people started like trying to reach God, and they started building this tower.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain the story, and then God then dispersed everybody, and then that's how different languages began.
And your 6-year-olds will be like, why?
"The why is never in."
No, but I would have given my answer, guys. My answer, why?
My dad would say, if you go to the bookshelf, there's a book called, you can read that. Okay? And then when you're done reading it, you can then come and tell me.
Wow. But it's 6, because you're 6 years old, right? Could you read at 6? Like,
I actually could.
oh, well, okay. So, yeah.
And my
alright.
mom would say,
Oh wow. My mom would probably be the one to answer this question, and she'd be like, you see how colorful your beads are? How many different beads there are that, they're so colorful. God wanted us to be very colorful with our languages, not just one language. So that's why there's so many different languages.
Oh, but that's a lovely
That's
answer.
how my mom
I think that was probably a good answer, yeah.
my mom would be like, "Lusa, go change
Okay, third one. Why can't I stay up as late as you do?
Okay.
You need to grow taller. So go to bed.
You'd never say that to my mom. Exactly. Who are you? Like, what happened to you? Like, did you wake up and think you're somebody else's kid? My dad would be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, that's a fair question. Yeah, look, stay up. Serious.
For real.
It's okay. I'll stay up late.
Well, I would be like, you need to grow, and your mind needs to grow, and you can only do that with enough sleep. So until you're as big as I am, you need to have a lot more hours sleep than me.
Well, I was the first one to answer.
Okay.
Sheesh. My mom, like, my mom will probably say, like, one of those,
Mm-hmm.
and then you stay up late as I do. This is my house.
Right.
My rules.
So you guys, are we supposed to be answering this as what our parents would have said? As our parents would have said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, fourth question. Why don't we want others to see our private parts?
Because they're going to fall off. Yes. If someone sees your bununus, it's going to fall off.
I'm so really sad.
Wow. My mom would have been like, Auntie, it's a private part. It's private, it's yours. My dad would be, what would my dad have said? I can't even think. My dad would have just been mortified, like, mind you not.
Your mom and dad.
She's even shaking her head before. I don't think I could ever ask him. I could never. No, do I?
Yeah.
My mama wanted to go like it's a money. She didn't do go as nice, that's not answers.
Right.
Then, okay, question number 5. Why are my brother's parts different from my parts?
You guys, these are like white folks questions, right?
Because you'd never ask that. That I don't think I would ever ask.
No, but some kids do ask.
Some kids
But
will
why? They would ask. And especially if you bath kids together,
Oh, yeah.
you know? Because there's that time when you just bath them together.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you're a girl and he's a boy.
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Because
That's
God made you that way. Amen.
Why?
Full stop.
Why are you even looking?
yeah. But
Okay, where do babies come from?
there's so many responses to that.
Like God. No, I've heard the whole. I don't know. Tengo. I'm the last born, so I've never asked.
And
that
then there was
question
the one
before.
year since the stork brought the baby home.
Yeah, there was that.
There was that.
My dad would have said kids come from God. My mom actually gave me a sex education book when I asked that, and I was 8, I think.
Wow.
Do you understand?
But I knew that she would get pregnant. But I think I wanted to know the mechanics of, and then I was given a book that we actually would go through together to say,
Oh, that was nice.
this is mom, this is dad, this is
And that's
sex,
you in the summer.
and then that's yeah.
Okay, so
Where is she?
No,
Where she
you
has that
guys
look?
leave me out of this conversation because I don't know.
like what your parents would have
I
said.
would never. I would just.
Not ask.
I was probably the kid who used to go, why? Why?
You know, books and find the stuff for myself.
Okay, so answers you how you would answer.
My son, yeah, that one believes everything I say.
So what would you have said? So where do children come from, mom?
She might feel sorry for that child.
Well, your mommy and your daddy loved each other so much. Their love was so big. It was so big. And then it created you.
Okay. No,
But
that's good.
now that we're not together anymore, that's why you don't have siblings. Because mommy has to find somebody else to create this love bubble again. So it's going to be hard to do.
I quite like that though.
You like it?
I like that.
So much. It's so created.
This big bubble.
You were created out of love.
Yes, man. Yeah, no, that's good.
Oh, okay. Why do people die?
Yeah.
Because God is calling all the angels.
That is definitely the answer
I guess.
that I would have gotten.
I think I'd go something similar to that. Yeah.
We should write a book.
We should.
Really, guys?
Mm.
Okay.
We need to go to heaven.
What happens when we die? When you die?
Go to heaven.
Yeah. It was go to heaven.
But if you were bad, you go to hell.
Oh wow. Yes, I think my parents would have used that because I was so naughty. But anyway, what is God?
I asked that question, I did. And I was told about the Trinity. And I just couldn't understand it. Like, okay, so if there's a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit, like, who was there first? and if they're like one person, how can they be three? And why could one come to earth and then still be saying my Father? Because they're supposed to be one person. So it was a never-ending discussion, that one. I don't think it's even ended now.
I think
it's still ongoing.
He's the Father of everyone. The Creator.
Yeah, he's the Creator.
He created the whole world, including everything that's in it.
Yeah.
He's the Creator, and He watches over all of us. He knows everything. And like Mommy, He sees all. That's what I told my son when he was young. Like, I can see everything.
Just like Mommy. See everything.
Okay, so the last question, why do I have to go to school?
You don't, child. You can stay at home and become a vegetable.
No, but is that what your parents would have said?
No, my parents wouldn't have said that. But I actually have no issue with my child not wanting to go to school now. But anyway, my parents would have been like, my mom would have been like, my dad would have tried to be a bit more philosophical about it. My mom would have just like, hit me. and takuchikoro iwewe mgoti bachi no like
I would never say that.
Okay, so what would you say now?
My son said it to me. You guys, there's stuff you just born and you just know there's some parents you can't say
just
things
ask
to.
me these questions.
I think your mom and my mom are in the same WhatsApp group, right?
You'll just be scared to ask this
can't.
question.
But look, we've run out of time, you guys. It's been so much fun. But look, I hope you've been responding as well as we've been responding to exactly that game on fire.
That's all for this segment.
Welcome to the final segment of our #NoFilter, where we're going to be discussing our inability to speak out about rape or abuse that we get. Is that now creating barriers to kids coming and talking to us?
I think it is, but I think it's a cultural thing because for work we're actually doing this thing where we tell women's stories and whatnot, and a lot of girls were talking about how in their families, like one of those days, that one uncle or whatever who abuses everyone, but you can't talk about it. Even if you go to your own mother, you can't talk about it because no, or like what was the other excuse? I don't know, just because maybe the uncle has got money and that family, they don't talk about it because now you're tarnishing our family name. So now I think
the uncle won't be able to help when the parents need help.
Exactly. Yes. Or if they don't even have money, it's because no, started. But I'm thinking, how many kids are going past this uncle and abuse and whatnot? I think it's a more of a cultural thing, as in like in just Zimbabwean families.
Yeah. I think there's also this thing where, if you've got somebody that you trust, I'm going to say priests, I'm going to say uncle, I'm going to say, just a trusted person within society.
Maid.
Sometimes that really creates a barrier for anybody to want to come and say anything, because who's going to believe me?
Believe you? And then sometimes it's just shame. I think when we talk about things like rape and sexual abuse, sometimes for years it was put across that it's because of the way you've acted. This is because of the way you're dressed. You probably said something. It's your fault. So in the end, you're also looking at yourself and you're like, did I do something? Maybe I did something. Maybe this was my fault. So it's like your shame, and for you to share that shame, and everybody will know that this is what has been done to you.
Right.
It's such, and you'll carry it for the rest of your life, and everybody will know.
Yeah.
I think also one of the things, just to add on to that, is having to relive that whole experience. Just talking about it, I think a lot of people struggle with just that. How do I even start? Because I've buried it so deep. I don't want to relive that moment. Now, can you imagine now having to tell an adult or telling the cops that this is what, because the cops will ask you, frame by frame, what happened? Then he did what? Then he touched you where, or she touched you where. Now
then you go to the court and then they'll ask
and
you.
they're gonna ask you again. So it's like you're going through the
Reliving
rape
it
again
and
and again.
again.
So a lot of people think, you know, let me just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Let me just not talk about it and let me just bury it. But by your not talking about it, it means there's someone else who's also going to be a victim. It's going to be a cycle that keeps going on and perpetuating.
You know, there was a case of a girl who committed suicide, and her father was raping her from when she was young. So whenever she got into trouble, it would be like pina bedroom. So the Dilanae was not beating her up or whatever, but he would actually rape her.
And then nobody would intervene.
And nobody intervened. But like her mom, she tried to disclose this with her mom, and the mother didn't listen to her. She then got married, and she had such issues with just the sexual element with
intimacy,
her partner, and then she killed herself, and she left a note to say, "This is what I try to tell you, mom," you know, and So at some point, she obviously then stopped trying to communicate.
Because I think with mothers, there's some mothers who even accuse their daughters, but
you're trying to steal my man.
Exactly. And it doesn't make sense, because your mother is supposed to be someone whom you can tell anything and everything. She's supposed to protect you. But in most of these cases, the mother is actually accusing the girl child, no. Or like you said, I don't dibira murumo wangu, or but ndiongo chijida, you ndiongo chimsedusa. But then at the end of the day, this is a young child.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about how we react when somebody comes to us to tell us these things.
True.
It's your facial reaction, it's your body language, it's the words you speak then that just tell someone, you know, I'm better off just keeping quiet.
True.
But then it's also about the traditions we have in the culture. You know, is able to, you know, touching breasts and stuff like that. What? I think, you know, certain traditions are good, but certain traditions, people are abusing them. So we need to just cut them off.
No, that's very true. And I think we also have to be cognizant of kids that are now, you know, like orphaned, that are now staying in our homes. Because I think there's a level of the way you treat your kids may be different to those kids that are now
We're not paying attention
to them.
You hardly pay attention to your own kids.
Right. Now, let alone
kids.
Yeah. So I can imagine how they may feel like they can't really articulate certain things that they may be...
True. But I also feel, even like with some of the institutions where we are, whether it's a school or whatever, I think we need to have... like boxes where kids can just write, you know, in confidence and confidentiality, whatever boxes, where they can just state that I'm having this issue, whatever. Because at times a face-to-face conversation is very difficult. But if we're able to write it out and say, this is what happened to me, and place it in this box somewhere else, and you know, someone may be able to assist or help somewhere along the line.
I think it's really important. We should have the health workers in every single school paying attention, because social welfare in our country, you know, economy is bad. They hardly have, you know, they don't have the monies to be doing all of that. So I think schools should just really be paying a lot more attention. At home, parents, we should pay more attention. Neighbors, we need to be each other's keeper.
Absolutely.
And really just help out. And, you know, sometimes we see things happening and we choose to look aside or say nothing, or, you know, be judgmental, you know, and stuff.
Did you guys see that issue about that girl in Kwazana?
The one was
And nobody was saying anything. And
everybody
lived just literally down the road from a police station. I mean, where does that whole issue of like it takes a village to raise a village come in? Yeah.
We lost our culture along the way, I guess.
If you've been watching this and you're abused, or you know somebody who is abused, please do contact the numbers that are below. We don't want you to be afraid to speak out. Let's speak out to somebody and let's reach out for help before it's too late.
Save someone's life. Save your life.
Be your brother and your sister's keeper.
See something, say something.
Thank you for joining us. Bye.